Hello everyone, I'm doing this video on a gorgeous sunny Sunday morning. It's very windy, so I do apologise. I have got the windshields on the camera, but they're just held on by Bluetooth and they're a bit withered, so it might get through a little bit, but it's a shame because it's an absolutely gorgeous day. The lighting here was brilliant. I've just been taking a few photos, so my voice is a little bit hoarse today because I was out in Newcastle yesterday. So I'm up early, well it's about 10 o'clock I think now, and I'm off to Aldi, then going for a coffee, but I thought I'd try and get a video done on my way around and take some photos for a couple of things I've got planned in November for like the war remembrance and so on. Now the title for this video I haven't decided yet. It's either going to be 4 in a Grave or 3 Spinsters and a Gentleman, because it's a story of I wrote a couple of years ago, and I've used different titles for it. It's about one particular headstone and how much history you can actually get off one particular stone. And I think this one's interesting. It's one of if I had to choose 10 headstones to like put in a book or write about and just share them all, this would be included. Now I always have to remember where it is. I can see it from here. It's actually one headstone with 4 names on it. And there's still a little bit of mystery to me about some of it, which I'll explain when we get there, but just to give you a look around. Bishopwearmouth Cemetery in Sunderland, absolutely huge. I think it's about 70 or 80 acres. The first unfortunate person to have to be buried here was buried on the 2nd of May 1856. What we're talking now, about 170 odd year old. Actually might have just seen a squirrel. We might actually be a little bit sheltered here actually. Summer's gone and autumn has arrived. Just check the weather, it's quite good most of this week here, so I might get a few videos done. There's the headstone just in front of us. Look at that. Sacred to the beloved memory of Maria Minnie Mason. Bit of a tongue twister. Died at Hilton, County Durham. Doesn't say which one. Was it North Hilton? Was it South Hilton? Oh. Do you know what? I've never noticed this or paid any attention to this headstone here. This is what I've come here for. But Anne, widow of the late William Stevens, ship owner of North Shields, who died February the 11th, 1856, aged 75 years, so he won't be buried here. And then Robert Jewett, son-in-law of the above, who died at sea on his passage home from Madras in 1861, aged 40. And then further down there's a William Stevens Jewett, elder son above, who was drowned at sea February the 7th, 1871, aged 22 years. That's just one family's lost two members at sea. There's thousands passed away sadly travelling the world, but next to it, in loving memory of Reginald Jewett, who was killed in the Victoria Hall June the 16th, 1883, and I think aged 7 years, so one of the victims. Well, this is the particular headstone I've come here to do a video for. This is one of the most interesting sections of the cemetery, this area around the chapel. It's one of the oldest, and it is just absolutely full of lots of stories. I can just see with my eyes here, somebody was an actress over there on the York Theatre stage, a surgeon, somebody who was a leader of the choirs of 2 of the chapels in town. This is the headstone. It's a grand stone. When I said 4 in a grave, technically it's not 4 in a grave, it's 4 in 2 graves. So this particular plot is this bit here, but also I think it was on the right hand side they've got another one. So there's 4 people mentioned. Look at this. So it's erected to the memory of Harriet Watson of South Cottage, Bishopwearmouth. I always tell you the difference between Bishopwearmouth and Sunderland, who died the 30th of April 1858, aged 86 years. And then below there's Mary Vincent, who died the 2nd of January 1862, aged 78 years. And then beneath that is Henrietta Iverson, who died November the 20th, 1870, aged 86 years. And then Thomas Gibson died July the 19th, 1875, aged 76 years. So if you notice that, all good ages, it's somewhere around 325 years between all 4 of them. All with different surnames. 3 of them were spinsters, and 1 was a gentleman who I believe didn't marry. Now there's no obvious connection between any of these particular 4 people. I did research it. Now one of these particular people, bearing in mind, I'll give you this, Henrietta Iverson, she died 1870. Her grandparents on her father's side were born in the 1600s. And I'll tell you why. Because her father got married a 17-year-old woman when he was about 67. So when she was born, her dad was 66 to 67. He was also the vicar of St. Peter's, which is Monkwearmouth Parish Church at the time. What he did was he got absolutely hammered one night and set fire to Monkwearmouth Hall. So all the parish records were practically, I think most of them were actually burnt and destroyed. So Henrietta was his daughter. Now Margaret Watson, that was Henrietta's auntie, and they were living together in Tatum Street in 1851. Now Mary Vincent, she was born in London, so there's no obvious connection to any of the others. And Thomas Gibson, he died at, I think it was, remember Argyle Street in the town? And he lived off like an annuity. They were all living off independent means. They didn't work. And if you notice the time span from the first death, 1858 through 1875, so over 17 years, these 4 people were buried in these 2 particular plots. And for the life of me, I don't know how Thomas and Mary were connected to the other 2. As I said, Henrietta, she was the niece of Harriet. Mary Vincent, no idea how she's connected to them, and no idea how Thomas was, and also who was getting them buried in these 2, because it's actually 2 graves. So who was actually burying them in these 2 particular spots? Because somebody was arranging the burials over a period of 17 years. Maybe they were possibly from the same church congregation, and they all became friends. There was something else about Mary. This is one. There's a lot of stuff to remember to do this one. I'm trying to remember where it was. Oh, I think Mary Vincent died at a place called Salem Lodge, which I think was sort of on the border of like the centre of town and Bishopwearmouth. But there we have it. 4 people. But imagine Henrietta, if you'd asked her in 1870, tell us about your grandparents. Oh well, my grandparent Iverson, he was born in something like 1670, 1680 probably. So even later, 1690. And also, Harriet and Mary are buried in one grave, and Thomas and Henrietta are buried in this next grave. But as you can see, quite a large stone. Just so you know where we are, there's the Southern Cemetery Chapel, currently being restored, Grade 2 listed building. Sorry, there's a cough there. But I'll just show you a couple of other ones, interesting ones, close by. Right. In memory of Jane Florence, the beloved wife of Matthew Francis, a surgeon of Bishopwearmouth, who died January the 27th, 1876, aged 41 years. Also in memory of Matthew Francis, surgeon of Bishopwearmouth, who died November the 30th, 1882, aged 62. Now Matthew Francis, he was the police surgeon as well, so if there was any suspicious deaths or anybody was injured in police custody and so on, he was the one who would attend to them, so it's quite a prominent position in the town. And look at this, it mentions here, also Jane, beloved wife of somebody, Edward Reynolds of the York theatrical circuit. So that was his mother-in-law. She was on the stage. And also the wife of the wife of Matthew, I think she was on the stage as well. And those two, Matthew actually married her in a little church in the centre of York. Absolutely gorgeous morning. And this is the one I mentioned before, the late Watson Hunter of Bishopwearmouth. I've never actually looked into his life, but for many years leader of the choirs in Sand Street and Fawcett Street Wesleyan Chapels, who died suddenly September 30th, 1859, aged 73 years. Now look at that one. The burial place of William Davison of Nile Street, that's in the centre of town. But have you noticed Bishopwearmouth? So when this cemetery opened in 1856, these are probably some of the oldest graves, and notice how everybody in this particular area is specifying that they were of Bishopwearmouth. They're not saying they're from Sunderland. And now again, look, Isabella Davison, wife of William Davison of Bishopwearmouth. She's actually Isabella is actually interred at the Gill Cemetery, the one I do the videos about, down near the centre of town. She's one of those thousands of people who have no memorial down there, but that's one way to find out some of the people who were buried, because there are mentioned on headstones in this place for a period of time. It's quite warm actually. Now he's got one there, sacred to the memory of the wife of William Dawson of Tunstall, which is a couple of miles away. You've heard of the Tunstall Hills probably. Look at that, in memory of Dorothy Elizabeth Oliver, late of Villiers Street, Bishopwearmouth. She died at Hartlepool. Villiers Street is one of those early Bishopwearmouth streets on the edge of what's now like the city centre, pretty much on the border with like the old Sunderland. Look at that, in memory of Matilda, the beloved wife of George Moore, who died at Newington, Edinburgh, on the 27th of February 1861. Them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. I have done a few stories on some of the people in this section, but again, it's only a small fraction, because if you look around, it's absolutely tons of stones, some really interesting stories. Right, look at this here. In memory of Dorothy, relics of Samuel Paul Cooper Esquire, late of Russia, who departed this life on the 25th of December 1862 in the 90th year of her age. Now, I do know a bit about this particular lady. Well, her husband, I believe, was born in Newcastle. Him and his father had an iron, I think it was iron or steel foundry on Leith Walk up in Edinburgh now, but it was Leith at the time. Still is Leith, but place I've walked up and down. I don't know which part of Leith Walk, so as some of you know, I don't go abroad from holiday. I go to Leith probably about once a year. That's my holiday. But sadly she died on Christmas Day, and if I remember, I think it was Derwent Street, or is it Olive Street in the town centre, one of those, because it's easy to forget these streets were full of residential houses, and it was quite a desirable place to live, Olive Street and Derwent Street. But late of Russia, he must have got, well, it was quite complicated because it says Russia, but at the time, I think it was like Russia, it was either Russian Poland or part of Ukraine, because I think in the newspaper article it mentions, I think Russian Poland or somewhere like that. The names of the areas changed in that particular period, going backward forwards, and here we are again. Sacred to the memory of Robert Best of Bishopwearmouth, who departed this life June the 15th, 1864, aged 63 years. Again, Bishopwearmouth. But there, put a space in between it. In memory of Isaac Mark, who died May the 18th, 1860, I think that's 8 or 3. I haven't brought my torch. Aged 29 years. And what's the epitaph? 'Tis God that lifts our comforts, and then which or sinks them in the grave. He gives, and blessed be his name. He takes but what he gave. Some of them don't actually roll off the tongue. I always wonder if people went to the monumental masons and he had a catalogue where you could choose something, a bit like buying a birthday card, or how much thought was put into them, or where they copied them off other people. I'll stand back from that. Looks like it's going to tip over. It's members of Simpson family, again, Bishopwearmouth. There's some lovely epitaphs. Don't want to get too close to that one. And then that one looks like it's about to tip. In remembrance of Mary Jane Postgate, great surname, of Sunderland, wife of James Postgate, who died October the 3rd, 1860, aged 32 years. The memory of the just is blessed. And that's mentions a couple of other family members. What's on the side here? Emma Green, daughter of James and Lucy Postgate, who died 1873, aged 11 months. Then I lost a son who was just 8. Right, it's getting a little bit too windy to be around here, and I'm stuck on a bloody tree. 2 seconds. Just got up a bit. Right, so I'm going to leave you with that little touch of Bishopwearmouth Sunderland history, and it's well worth a visit. Anyway, if you did enjoy that, please give it a like and click on the subscribe. It does help grow the channel. So I'm off now. I'm off for a coffee. I'm off to do some shopping. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, I just want to show you. I've just noticed this epitaph. This is for members of the Lister family. He was a ship owner of 28 Azalia Terrace. Probably pronounced it wrong. I should know. I've lived in Sunderland. Is it Azalia? Azalia? I walk past it every day. He was a shipbuilder at South Hilton. But look at that. The toils of life and pangs of death are over, and care and pain and sickness are no more. So on that happy note, I will leave you there, and I'll see you next time. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye.